Howdy do there. Anyway, I've just done my Ventolin and I've just finished the saline. I like to just have a little bit of a respite before doing the amoxicillin, because I find it can be too fatiguing doing the Ventolin, doing the saline, and then finishing off with a 15-20 minute session of amoxicillin. So I like to have a break before I trigger that off. So I've got my bronchiectasis cup of tea. And I've just been looking back at my channel, and when I was at my worst, which was about 6 months ago, I was on, countless antibiotics orally, probably every week. I was just looking back how thin my hair went, and it really went thin where it was uncontrollable. I couldn't have it like I have now, without any gel to the side or anything like that. It would just fall down. So it goes to show you how antibiotics affect just your hair in general. So. But that's not what I've come to talk about, my hair. But I've come to talk on reading the signs and knowing when to act on it or what you should do next. So what bronchiectasis has taught me over the years is reading my body language, or how I've been, or how I'm feeling, noticing changes, not so much just in sputum, noticing overall changes. So that could be anything from not being as active as I was, or if something takes my breath away that shouldn't be taking my breath away, or I get wheezy or something like that. That makes me think something's not quite right. So it's reading the signs. It's like today, I've just been giggling and laughing a bit, and I can hear a wheeze in my laugh that wasn't there a few days ago. So these are the little things we're looking out for. It could be silly little things like having a cough with a wheeze, but it wasn't there a couple of days ago. So these are all little things, and they're pointing you in the direction that something's either brewing or something's there. So I've been speaking to a person, and I'm not going to mention names because everything's private with me, and I'm guessing she's relatively early in stage of bronchiectasis, or maybe not stages, but diagnosis period, and dealing with a medication, and guessing she's finding out pretty early that there isn't much help out there from the specialists, and most of it is research from yourself. So I get questions a lot like, Angelo, I have blood in my sputum, what could cause that? So I'm not a person who gets blood in the sputum. Very rarely do I get blood in my sputum. So it's quite hard to answer questions like that. But when you're around people who've had blood in the sputum and have told you, their experience, then I can share my knowledge with you, and I can hopefully give you a bit of peace of mind or make your decision making a little bit better. So in particular, this message I get sometimes is, Angelo, I've got blood in my sputum. What's causing this? Is it an infection? Could you tell me what's happening here? So sometimes sputum can, have blood in there because it's either an old infection and it's bringing it up, so it's like a browny stale old blood that's been there but has not cleared up. Okay, so it could be from an old infection clearing up. Second one, it could be a present infection in there. They do associate blood sometimes with Pseudomonas as well, so that's something to look out for. But also blood could be caused through a lot of coughing. So if you've been coughing, you've been scraping your lungs off your ribs. So then when you cough, it feels like you're bringing, you brought it with the sputum, but it's just the blood that's come up. Another thing may be collapsed lung. So if you have blood in sputum with pain, if you associate pain and blood in sputum, that is a real concern. Pain, blood, sputum, get checked out straight away. That would be my recommendation. That could be a collapsed lung. And is there anything else it could be, Vic, that I've mentioned? Yeah. So it's probably leaning to a collapsed lung or a very, very inflamed lung that needs steroid treatment. So again, it's either an emergency room visit, it's either starting your rescue pack of amoxicillin. Again, blood is pleuris. It can also be pleuris, which will, explain chest pains as well. So I always say, if it's just recently been happening, keep your eye on it. If you associate any pain, get straight to the emergency room. Because I had, I don't think I had a pneumothorax, or a slight pneumothorax, which is like a slight collapsed lung. It's not the full collapse of the lung, it's a slight one. And I was in tremendous pain, but I didn't have any blood. So again, it is a thing for concern. It may not even be linked to the bronchiectasis. You could have punctured your lung as well. So I would highly recommend that if it's a very, very fresh blood and it's a large amount, I'm not on about a bit of sputum and blood here and there, that's not much of a concern. If it's like hemorrhages of blood, then don't just sit there thinking they're going to laugh at me if I turn up to the accident emergency room because I have bronchiectasis and I've been there before and I've just been let down. Just go. So I think we cleared up blood and sputum there. Again, let's talk a bit about the wheeze. Okay, a lot of people leave a wheeze far too long, in my opinion, for the reason that they're scared of taking steroids. Prensadol steroids are my rescue pack. They do come with, benefits, risks and side effects. The first time I went on steroids was about 2-3 years ago. It wasn't by my GP specialist and it wasn't by my doctor. I attended Salford Royal out of hours. I can't say that word, out of hours. And basically it's just where the doctor is present when your GP surgery is shut. So I seen this nice woman. She said, "Can I listen to your chest, Angelo?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "You've got a terrible wheeze on the right side. I'm going to prescribe you some steroids." I said, "What?" She said, "Have you never had steroids before?" And at that point, I had never had steroids. So I said, "No." I said, "I've never had steroids in my life." And she said, "Okay, you're going to need them this time." So I got my first week. And I can tell you, my first week of steroids were very challenging, mentally, physically and emotionally. I turned into this nervous wreck of a person. I just remember being in the kitchen, blending up some fruit and veg smoothie, things not going my way, being so stressed. I couldn't get either the blender to screw on so it powered the motor, and I just remember chucking that blender on the floor, breaking it. And these are all side effects of the steroids. So I recall that I recall that, and that was my first time on him. And it made me reluctant, to want to take him again because of being so angry under them. So the second time I had him, I wasn't so bad. So I was thinking, maybe it was just first time around and, my body wasn't used to it. I'd never had these side effects of being angry and moody and kind of thing. But I was wrong. I was so wrong. And it was only just 2 weeks ago I had to, use some steroids again. And by about day 3, everything was just winding me up. People talking were getting on my nerves. Playing on computer games, if it weren't going my way, I was chucking joypads. And like I say, it's not something I don't do, but not to the intent and the angriness it made me. So you do have to watch it on steroids, and you have to tell people as well you're on them for that reason as well, because it can make you a bit loopy and a bit crazy, and just a bit of a different character kind of thing. So you want to make out, look, it's not my fault I'm being this way, or let them be aware of it so they can monitor you under them. But like I say, it's reading the signs. I think the reason I took him is I could hear my wheeze, not just in my chest, I could hear it in my hearing. I was sweating a lot. I'm sweating now, but I'm having a cup of tea. Look out for sweating as well. I associate a wheeze with a sweat. I do anyway when it happens to me. So it's acting on that moment and it's taking him. And you shouldn't overtake anything, but in my case, as I've got a little bit older, it seems like I'm depending on him a little bit more than I was. And I just feel like 1 week doesn't cut it when I go on it. I feel like I need 2 weeks now. Also, don't just look out for being Chester, if you feel fatigue, I found it hard to just even keep my eyes open at times, to the point my eyes were, shutting. I found it difficult keeping my eyes open. I needed some kind of kick. So I want people to see the way it affects you in general. Sometimes it might not just start off with a wheeze, it might just start off with you feeling generally rubbish, tired, lethargic, fatigued, and later on the wheeze might set in, or vice versa. So I'm saying if you can pick it up at the earliest opportunity, and I'm not saying just run for the steroids every time this happens, give it a few days, 4 or 5 days. If you're not picking up, give yourself a boost, because that's what it's taught me. And then when I'm finished, I go and get my rescue pack, and they're there if I need them again. So like I say to everyone, we're quite fortunate in that we do have a wide range of rescue medication, wide range of rehabilitation medicine through your saline, not your muco clear, yeah, that's the saline. Just things like that. We have a wide range, and we can normally order them by repeat prescription. So don't be shy with it. Obviously, don't overuse it by any sense of the matter. Don't start throwing antibiotics down your mouth. The slight cough you get, the slight sneeze you get. Look at changes in phlegm, thickness of it. How are you bringing it up? Are you struggling to bring it up? If you're struggling to bring it up, then you may want to use the steroids as well, because the steroids give you strength in the lungs, in other parts of the body, to help bring sputum up. So again, look at it that way. Because I have to describe this to people, even Vicky sometimes. I have to say, do you know what steroids actually do? They don't just bring a wheeze down. They make the body stronger. Whether it's an anabolic bodybuilding steroid or a Prensidol medication steroid, they serve two different purposes. One's for muscle growth and one's for, medication. But they still serve the same thing, to make the body stronger. And that's when you must use it, okay, guys? So look out for that. And using antibiotics, and when should you use antibiotics? I'm on nebulized antibiotics, so I don't really need to use oral antibiotics like I once did. But there might be occasions where I just feel that I'm growing something, and my sputum may change colour, and I'll take my rescue pack, which is a doxycycline. Now I'm on amoxicillin, and they normally give you amoxicillin or doxycycline to fight the similar bugs you're growing. So if I feel that my nebulized stuff isn't doing a great job in getting rid of this bug, I'll probably take a week of my doxycycline and then finish off. Well, I won't finish off, I'll stay on the amoxicillin nebulized antibiotic, and I'll just stick with that, and normally it just clears up. So again, I use it as like a boost. I'm not really someone who constantly sends samples like I once did. Someone who sort of self-medicates, and with that being said, it's still wise to send samples, but it's kind of dawned on me, I have the medication I need. If I feel like I've got a flare-up, I'll take this. If nothing seems to happen in between them lines, then I'll send a sample out. So that's another thing to look out for. If you've got your rescue pack, use them. If you've got your nebulized antibiotics and you're feeling a bit crap, use them on top of it. The doctors would tell you otherwise if it wasn't compatible. Like, they won't give you a rescue pack of a medication if you couldn't take it alongside the nebulized ones. I know with zithromycins you can't take that and amoxicillin at the same time. So if you're unsure, just ring up about that. So say you're on nebulized treatment like me, and it's amoxicillin, and you have a rescue pack of doxycycline, for example, just for the peace of mind, ring up the doctor and say, is it okay if I stay on the amoxicillin nebulized and start my rescue pack? I'm not feeling too good. And I'll guarantee you I'm not a doctor, but the doctor will say stay on them both. But just be careful, anything called mycin, you must stop any other antibiotic alongside it. You can't take that and amoxicillin or something else, it's very dangerous. So with that being said, I'm sweating, I'm warm. I just feel like I've got over a bad period now. I'm still feeling a bit wheezy, but I feel like I can sleep a little bit better than I was. I'm just trying to be more focused on getting this medication and stop slacking. I have been slacking here and there a few days, and when I do, I reap the consequences of being not so well and running the risks of getting resistant to the nebulized antibiotics. But again, it's long-winded, it is hard work, even at my age 32, it is hard work and you've got to be religious with it. Otherwise, it's a dangerous game you're playing, really, because in a way you may get resistant to this antibiotic. Then again, if you do, you've only got a couple more treatments left, which would be probably IVs or a different nebulized antibiotic. Alright, I'm off here. It's been a long video, but I hope I helped you. Yo!